What's up, people? Welcome back to the WINSPLE Talk Show. I'm your host, Priya Bhardwaj, author and co founder at WINSPLE. Here, I bring people all around the world to share their inspiring journey, which will inspire you to start your own. Subscribe to our channel to watch all the episodes for free. Hi, Shaundrelle.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking time to meet with me today.
Could you please share with me how sisters healing and evolving started? What was the spark that gave a thought to launch sister healing?
Well, the spark that caused me to launch Sisters Healing and Evolving Incorporated was it basically life circumstances. As a young girl, high school student in my senior year of high school, I had going into my senior year of high school, I had a 20-year Air Force plan, Air Force career plan out for myself. Well, I started making some decisions that caused life to change for me. And I became pregnant in my senior year. And so my thoughts were to continue on and go into the Air Force. But then I had my daughter and I didn't want to leave her with my parents because I didn't want to leave that responsibility on them, which I had the option to do that, but it was my choice, it was my decision, and so it was my responsibility, and I felt that I needed to meet the needs of that responsibility. So that started a whole life change for me because now I'm going from an 11-year, a 20-year Air Force career plan in the 11th grade to now I'm a teen mom, and so my life changed. And during those years from high school when I had her until about age 40, life was rough. And so there were things that I was dealing with during those years, and I didn't feel like I had those resources that I needed. So Sisters Healing and Evolving Incorporated fulfills those resources. So it's to give other women and young girls who may be in similar situations or just going through life circumstances resources and tools to help them to realize that, hey, you went through these things. Life still doesn't take away the purpose that you were created with. And so you can still dig deep and find that purpose within you.
Okay, first of all, I respect your decisions, that you understand your responsibility. You have many other ways, but you kept with your decision. You take care of your child, which is a great thing. And secondly, going through that thing and then making other things easy for other women is a great thing. Not every person can do this because it needs a lot of courage to help others and to make things easier for others. So
Yes.
I respect you for that.
Thank you. And it took a lot of courage. As you said, Priya, it takes a lot of courage to do that because before I actually incorporated and made it an official business, I dealt with it starting the nonprofit and the organization for at least 2.5 years because there were things that were in my past that I wasn't healed from them. And so it was a spot of contention for me. I don't want people to see those things that I'm weak in. Now, Lord, you're asking me to go out and share these weaknesses with other women. And I was looking at it from a place of guilt, a place of shame, a place of regret. And then, I had to really dig deep in my spiritual life and to overcome those things so that I could move forward and be healed. And now I can talk about those things that once brought me shame, those things I was once carrying a whole lot of guilt about, and use those to help other women to say, hey, I've been there before. I understand, I can sympathize and empathize with the amount of guilt, the amount of shame and regret that you're carrying. But this is how I was able to overcome with the help of my spiritual life, and you can do the same. And so it's just a great feeling to be able to do that now.
So, Shaundrelle, while discussing the success of women, what do you think that what education play a part in women life?
Education plays a great part in women's life, and we're not just talking about academic education, but we're talking about life skills. We're talking about everything from basic housekeeping to starting a business. So education is a major tool. It's a major, I would say, resource for women who are looking to go beyond the cliche, which is, home, being a home, raising children in the home. If you're looking to go beyond that, and there's nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home mom and raising children, because that in itself is a great job. It's a great career to have. But there's some women who desire to be businesswomen. There's some women who desire to be politicians. There's some women who desire to be the forefronters in science and technology. Whatever your desire is, then I would say education is a major tool in that. It's going to give you this, not only the knowledge, but it'll help you with the wisdom in knowing how to apply it and when to apply it.
Somewhere, I strongly believe education is must for absolute women empowerment. Women who are educated are more likely to come forward and face the challenges compared to those who are not educated. It's give you the courage where you step out of the fears, like what people think. Even if you see the ancient Indian history, women who are educated made a difference. Like, for example, King Janaka's daughter, Sita, it's her name comes in Asian Indian history. Sita used to go to Gurukul. Now Gurukul means school, and she used to participate in intellectual discussions in the court of Janaka. And we also find the mention of Rishika Anusua. Like she was an environmentalist. With her intense effort, she brought the 10-year drought in the forest to an end by just making for the channelizing of the Ganga river. And if we talk about the 19th century also, we see women with education who have reached the heights and inspired many, like for example Mother Teresa. She became the first Indian woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Indira Gandhi, she became the first women Prime Minister of India. Kalpana Chawla was the first Indian woman who reached in space. So I believe that there's no success without struggle. But not every woman has come forward in society to share on what she has gone through. So I also believe that somewhere education is must for women empowerment.
I can say, for instance, just taking my grandmother, for instance, and I actually have a program that's called Grandma Hands, and I won't jump ahead, but my grandmother on my father's side, my paternal grandmother, Zella Moore, her name is Zella Moore Mitchell, or was Zella Moore Mitchell. She's passed away now, but she had a 7th grade education. But she was very wise when it came to business dealings. She was very wise when it came to outreach or community dealings. She was very wise when it came to dealings in her home. So education can be an empowerment tool, and I do support having education, especially academic education. I support that. But does every woman need a college degree to empower others? I don't believe that. I believe that what's on the inside of us gives us the boldness and the heart to empower other women. Because my grandmother, take for instance, she empowered many women in our community. She was a pillar of our community. She fed many people. She reared many children that went on to college and became lawyers, doctors, judges, police officers. And so education is a tool that empowers us, but what mostly empowers us to empower other people is our heart, our mindset. And that's where the true power from internal comes to make us who we are.
So, while mentoring the people, being a coach, what do you think about mental health? Like nowadays, people find very difficult to handle about the mental things, and they find very difficult to tackle the mental health. So, what do you think about this?
Well, I do believe that mental health has always been a major public issue. I do believe that the pandemic has shined a light on the severe state of mental health. Before, people went about their day to day and they used their jobs, their daily routines as an escape from their mental health state. Well, the pandemic caused us to be quarantined. So it caused us to come face to face with the things that we were escaping from through work, through school, through activities, extracurricular activities, or just, day-to-day life, hanging out with friends, those things. So I believe that now people are face to face, so to speak, with their mental health status and the things that plagued them every day that they were running from. And so now it's time to address it because there's no way to run, nowhere to run to. Those things are very limited, even though here in the US, things are reopening, but it's still very limited and life is no longer the way it was pre-COVID. So it's just time that mental health has received the priority that it needs, because our mental health really determines everything else in our lives. We just haven't given it the proper priority.